All right, guys, you won't believe it. I just got finished doing 2 showings downtown for a buyer of mine, but I'm not done yet because our showings for you guys is just about to start. That's right. We're gonna see 2-bedroom condo units around the Lakeshore, somewhat South Parkdale area. We're gonna see 3 units, 2 bedrooms each, ranging from $750,000 to $800,000 in asking price. And as always, I'm gonna go through the units, give you my feedback on the units, the pros, the cons, the buildings, talk about the market. You know, I can't stop myself from talking and yapping. So this video is just not a property tour of what's on market for 2 bedrooms in downtown Toronto, because I always try to make it as informative as possible. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Sam, a Toronto real estate agent, actively working in the Toronto and GTA real estate market. On this channel, you can expect videos such as this one, you know, vlogs, property tours, or you can expect property tours of what I've bought and sold for clients, more thorough videos on those units or homes that I've bought and sold, and other videos like market reports, market news, market trends, buyer advice, seller advice, area analysis, and so much more. So if you find any of this content enjoyable, informative, feel free to subscribe, or you can find my contact information in the description box. Get in touch with me. Many of my buyers and clients have gotten in touch with me through this channel. I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of you. All right, so here we are in the first unit. This is 1910. The building is 1910 Lakeshore Boulevard. One of the older ones. They have done some recent work, and they're actually going to renovate coming up. In the lobby, you'll be able to see all the illustrations of the renovations they're doing. So this is the first unit. These guys are asking for $739, and let me quickly show you the unit. As you see, it shows a bit darker. The color of the floor doesn't help, and this light fixture currently doesn't seem to be working or wanting to cooperate. The red wall certainly doesn't help. Now, the bonus of this is that it's floor to ceiling windows. I personally do not mind the highway noise. I like a little bit of a white noise in the background, but for most of my buyers, this is a deal breaker. I understand I'm the exception. And then you see here that has some slight water views. We'll see a better angle of that in the balcony. Now, 1910 is a decent building. It's not, you know, a perfect building. It has some, I have some complaints with it. For some reason, data and phone connection in this building is very stubborn. At least that's been my experience with it. If you live in the building, you haven't experienced that, kudos to you. And I believe the exact square footage of this unit is around 860 square feet. So at $739 asking price, they're well below $1,000 per square foot. And here you can see the secondary bedroom, right, which faces the train tracks. And in today's market, this is going to stay on market for a longer period of time. It's recently come onto the market at the time of recording of this video. As we know from downtown, as I've talked in my other videos, downtown Toronto condos right now are having a harder time selling. And you can really hear the noise of the train as I'm recording right now. Obviously that noise is still going to seep in through the unit if you have your windows closed, but far less. And then you have some water views as well. So yeah, this is the first unit, the first 2-bedroom unit we're seeing today, and we're gonna move on to the next one. All right, so here we are in the second unit of the day. 2 bedrooms, once again, 2 washrooms. This is actually 2+1, and I am not impressed at all. In fact, I'm quite disappointed with this unit. All in all, I'm very disappointed with this building. These are 2 new buildings that have come on to Lakeshore, 1926 and 1928 Lakeshore Boulevard. And to be fair, all new buildings, even from great builders, always have hiccups in the first year. You know, you're gonna have small scratches here and there. The building is just getting its, you know, routine going. Nonetheless, this building has a lot of issues, even for a building in its first year. And this unit has been on market for around 90 days. And you can tell why as soon as you walk in. So let me show you the first thing you see when you walk into the unit. And guess what? As soon as you open the door, you have this wall here, right? Look at the clearance there. Minimal clearance. And guess what? Now the lights are on. When we opened the door to the unit, the lights were off, right? So we could have easily just banged our head against this wall. So this is a very poorly conceived unit, as you guys can see in terms of layout, right? Now, this is a 2+1. This is supposed to be the den, as you see here. But it just feels like a timeout space for a child. I mean, there's nothing you really can do with this. You have a very, very small office, but it feels very claustrophobic. And then you have the rest of the unit. You have your first washroom. And then you have the second bedroom, which is one of these transparent sliding door bedrooms. And then you have the rest of the unit. Now, anything past this first 30%, I would say is acceptable, right? Like the rest of the unit is not great, don't get me wrong, but I find it to be better than the first third of the unit, right? Because then you have, sure, a view that's pretty obstructed, but then you have, like, on this side, a pretty decent view, right? Today's a very foggy day, and here as well, right? And the balcony is quite large, but it's directly looking onto another building. And then you have the primary on the smaller side for sure. You cannot fit a queen here comfortably whatsoever. However, you do have a little bit of a walk-through closet, a his and hers closet type of thing going, and then the ensuite washroom. But this unit is ridiculously overpriced in my opinion, right? It's been on the market for 90 days. It's asking for around $809,000. Square footage is 770. Sure, it has a locker, it has a parking spot. Parking spot in this part of the town really comes in handy and is scarce. Nonetheless, though, 1+1s here have been selling for the low 700s, 720s, right? Around the same size, actually. So, been on the market for 90 days at this price is not a coincidence. This needs a significant price reduction. Okay guys, so here we are in the last unit, the last 2-bedroom of the day, and guess what? Still not that impressive, but I would say all in all the best of what we've seen today, right? It needs a bit of work, and honestly, the building is probably on par with the first one, better than the second one, I have to say. I was very disappointed with the building of the most recent one we saw. And this needs a bit of work, right? It has a bit of wear and tear. And, for instance, this chandelier is very low, but it's just because the dining is supposed to go where I'm, pretty much standing. If you have the vision for this unit and do the work, it definitely has potential, right? Compared to what we've seen today. But it still shows pretty dark. And, this is the second bedroom. Once again, sliding glass bedroom. This is the entrance, quite a narrow corridor, right? But these corridors, and this is the washroom, but these corridors, although they eat up a bit of the space of the floor plan, they do provide a good division between the unit and the hallway. Why is that important? Because guess what? The units that just open up into the living room and the kitchen, noise travels a lot. You might lack a bit of privacy. Here, at least there's some division, right? Nonetheless, the primary is also a sliding door primary. And then you have the second washroom here. So you may ask, which buildings are we in? Well, we're in the NXT condos. 103 and 105 the Queensway. Now these buildings, they're not perfect. I wouldn't rank them as like A tier buildings, but I think they're solid B- to B buildings. They're transitionary buildings. I would never recommend someone buying this building to have a family, but I would recommend for maybe 3 to 5 years if you want to experience downtown, the waterfront, the biking paths, close to Hyde Park, close to Queen West, King West. I would recommend this for sure. Maintenance on the higher side. Elevator wait times in this building is pretty brutal, actually. But compared to the most recent buildings we saw, once again, better than the most recent one we saw, I think, and on par with the first one. The first one is a little bit more residential oriented, a little bit more end user friendly. This is a little bit less end user friendly. Nonetheless, though, I think they're sometimes a bit overhated, if you ask me. This unit has been on the market for a long time though, for 112 days. And once again, in downtown Toronto right now, that's not that uncommon, right? It's the North York condo market that's really picking up and elsewhere in Toronto. But for some reason, downtown, well, not for some reason, I can tell you why, and I've talked about it. Downtown's still pretty slow and steady at the time of recording of this video, of course. Asking for around $740,000. But to just give you a clue, for instance, the maintenance here is $720. I think the square footage is around 710 to 730. So it's either really close to $1 per square foot in this building or just above $1 per square foot. Okay, that's it for today's showings. Those 3 units we got to see. Not impressed whatsoever, but nonetheless, now that my showings are done, I have arrived at my final destination, which is my favorite Indian restaurant in downtown Toronto, really in Toronto overall. It's on Bloor Street West, around Bloor and Ossington. I think it has really good Indian food, just my opinion. As I'm gonna go enjoy some very delicious Indian food. As always, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay tuned. Thank you.